Hi, my name is MHurley, and this is my case study 3 over Macy Hall. To review the previous study, the behavior of interest that I selected was aggression, the intervention was functional communication, and the barriers were hard no request, prompt dependence, and the response cost was higher than the motivators. In regards to training during this intervention, I focused on staff first. So staff will complete a training packet covering various expectations and skill sets that are required for a successful session with this client. This packet includes questions such as client's background, including age, caregivers, siblings, preferred prompt levels, client preferred communication style, the client synthesized reinforcers. So the reinforcers that it is not just the object that is reinforcing, it is reinforcing in a specific way that the therapist needs to understand how to make that specific thing reinforcing to that specific client. Um, Also about precursor behaviors, as we are specifically trying to target the behavior before it completely escalates to that point of aggression. We'd love to make sure we can prompt FCT at that precursor point so we never have to get to aggressing towards another individual or ourselves. There's also outlined of behavior skills training over the behavior intervention, as well as the individualized behavior principles that are implemented in the behavior intervention plan, and caregiver preferred communication styles to ensure that both the client and caregiver's preferred communication styles are accounted for throughout the session. If the client is receiving in-home care, which this client is, the staff are receiving at least one observation and training in-home with the client to ensure that their skills can generalize between different settings and their expectations. To review some behavior skills training, Parsons and Royalson outlined the effective and evidence-based training approach for multiple staff to be competent and confident in their job. That is behavior skills training, and that is currently what we are implementing with our staff. Um, Currently, we have 3 assistant trainers who have received training on BST as well as fearless feedback to ensure that they are providing adequate training to our new RBTs, to ensure that we are having competent and confident RBTs providing services to our clients. And it has been shown effective in many studies as well. Caregiver training and support is necessary to ensure that caregivers feel satisfied with their care and that they don't report dissatisfaction with their BCBA, which was commonly reported by Taylor et al. In 2019. Um, Throughout this time, caregivers for Macy will be provided the opportunity to receive training on the intervention, as well as the BCBA being open and available to them in the moment of training to ensure that they are fully understanding the scope of the intervention and how to implement it properly. Currently, the caregiver has received one training regarding functional communication, and at the end, they were able to rehearse and receive feedback regarding how to naturally implement this new intervention throughout their daily life. During this time, the BCBA RBT client and caregivers were all present. Um, and they really just made sure that everyone was able to understand the intervention fully and ensure procedural fidelity across everybody. For performance monitoring, this is specifically for current staff. We do behavior intervention checks where staff are required to pass 90% fidelity with their clients, at least 2 inside of a month. Following a fail or a score less than 90%, that covers all the behavior intervention plans for that individual client. You will receive individualized feedback on the deficits that you need to acquire before taking your next behavior check to ensure that the next one you are set up for success and you are not testing the next day and not given adequate time to regain the skill. We also take expectation data to ensure that session program data is collected adequately and clearly, as well as about like it maintains validity. We have a center-wide expectation of 80%, and you get reinforcement through a center-wide reinforcer of dojo points. We also do a 15-minute weekly check-in with a BSBR supervision student to ensure that the RBT is feeling heard, safe, and understood throughout their session, as well as providing opportunity for them to ask any clarifying questions. Feedback. Regarding training, they receive in-session feedback from both the person training them as well as whenever they're receiving supervision from the BCBA, you are receiving feedback during that time as well. If it is given to you verbally, it is also written to you to ensure clarity. We never want to get in a position where it turns into a he said, she said situation and everybody is clear on what was spoken. The feedback is always directed at growth and competency in applied skills and is never to come off as bias or personal attacks. And it provides the opportunity for BCBAs to model the appropriate response of what they were looking for if they had to give constructive feedback. We also provide monthly feedback, which overviews your monthly ability to meet expectations, as well as a review of your individual goals that you previously set and are currently trying to attain. And then BCBAs and leadership are available for your feedback and concerns. Performance diagnostic checklist. So PDC, this is commonly something that my center does following whenever there's a problem with an employee that is specifically impacting company culture. So currently this is something that is a checklist that we go through that asks questions directed at the supervisor, providing if the trainer received enough materials for them to adequately do their job, they received enough training and had the opportunity to practice these skills prior to being set with these expectations. And it really provides a clarification of what the supervisor is providing for the trainer and less of what the trainer is doing wrong rather than what am I not doing right as a supervisor to support my staff. And it allows you to really reflect on those questions. Improvements. So following a need for an improvement with our staff, we typically go towards access and attention. So typically for access, this looks like a monetary raise that is found between those monthly feedback meetings. If you meet expectations over 3 months, you receive 25-cent raise to show that you have approved mastery, and to continue that, we continue providing that 25-cent raise on a quarterly basis. We also provide attention in the case of providing a staff shout out on newsletters, as well as social media, and a spotlight in your shout outs portion of our company-wide communication. We also provide individualized feedback, so the people who do not enjoy verbal praise or social praise get that praise in a more attainable and receivable manner. These are my citations for what I reviewed throughout this case study. Thank you.